first day with the whole group here, so felt really good about what we were able to get accomplished, and got some good work in. So go ahead, I'll answer your questions.
Dennis, you've been asked numerous times over the last few weeks if Marshon Lattimore was going to be here, and every time you said he is, and he was. Your early initial impressions of 23?
Well, first of all, I would say this. Lattimore's never missed a mandatory, event, so I kind of expected that, he would be here. I think I'll reserve kind of judgment till I get a chance to really watch the tape. I wouldn't say that anything necessarily stood out to me one way or the other. I know he made one nice play over there on the boundary over there. So, but listen, to have both him and Alvin here, I thought was good. We were excited about having him here. Thank you.
It was all my idea, not theirs.
What kind of physical condition did you see Alvin in? He's generally a guy who stays in shape.
Yeah, look, I thought, he had to be in fairly decent physical condition to get through these elements out here today. I mean, it was hot out here today, so I thought he looked explosive. There's a couple of really good runs that I was impressed with. So again, like I said, both those guys being out here was a positive, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with them.
Is Alvin behind a little bit in the new offense because he just showed up, or is it?
Well,
I mean, in the big scheme of things, when relatively speaking, is not really.
I would say that remains to be seen. I didn't get a sense that he was behind today. In terms of being able to get lined up, being able to execute his job. I think there might have been one protection that he might have been off on. I had to go in and look at it, but I thought for the most part he was on point with his assignments and what he needed to be doing. I think the biggest thing that we have to be able to do, I'm not worried about Alvin really knowing what to do. He's really smart and he's a professional. He works hard at it. It's really more about getting the rhythm and the timing, not just in the passing game, but also in the run game, and making sure you get a feel for the tracks and how these particular plays need to be run and what that feels like. So that's probably where we're going to have to play a little catch up and make sure we're all on the same page there.
And also, what about chemistry with an offensive line that's relatively young and might have 3 new players? I mean, there is a lot of chemistry between runners and their blockers, isn't there, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's all part of the everything's orchestrated, and everything has to be, on point. The 5 guys up front have to be working together. The fullback has to be able to take the right path. The tailback has to take the right path and know when to put his foot in the ground, when to keep stretching it. So those are all things that take time to get the feel for. And look, the ball plays they're not new plays. These are things that we've done around here. But how we're teaching it and how we're asking it to be executed, there's some distinct differences.
How true is the evaluation on the offensive and defensive line when they can't really touch each other?
Well, look, I would say there's not really any true evaluation of anything going on right now, just because you're limited in terms of what you can do from a contact standpoint, right? So I think you can get a feel, but I certainly don't think any decisions could be made based off what we're seeing out here right now. And the good news is we got plenty of time to do that, and training camp will be that time, so we'll have plenty of time to make those evaluations. But I wouldn't overload my stock in anything that you're seeing out here right now.
What do you like about seeing Jonathan Abram working with Tyrann Mathieu, and then vice versa when Jordan's in there as well? Could you just
Yeah, well, look, I think all 3 of those guys are really smart, so I think that benefits us. Jordan, for being a young player, is highly intelligent, and I think Jonathan Abram, that's how he's been able to sustain himself in this league, is through using his intelligence and his brain. And so I think that can be a decent little, group of guys back there in terms of the safety position.
Then is your kind of youth and athleticism you have on the offensive line, is it a benefit with this scheme that you're bringing in this year, this running scheme?
Yeah, look, I think having athletes, in general, regardless of what you're talking about, I think is a benefit, and certainly some of the things that we're asking our offensive line to do in terms of their ability to get to the second level, in terms of their ability to, reach and run and cut guys off and do those things. Obviously, the more athletic you are, the better you're able to do that, and yet it's still a power game. It's still a big man's game, and you still have to be able to. It's one thing to say I can get to a spot. It's another thing to say I can move a guy off that spot. And so that's what you have to be able to do. And we'll find more out about that when we get to training camp.
We didn't see Juwan Johnson. Is he dealing with an injury or anything?
Yeah. Look, Ryan Ramczyk is excused. And then anybody else you didn't see out here today would be dealing with either an injury or an illness.
Dennis, the undrafted free agent players, you got a D2 player, Kyle Sheets, what do you want to see out of them right now, this stage of the game?
Yeah, look, I think anytime you're dealing with an undrafted free agent, I think what you're really looking for is, man, what are they doing to stand out? And I had this discussion with the team earlier is if you're an undrafted free agent, you have to do something to distinguish yourself from the rest of the guys. Otherwise, I don't even know who you are, And so I'm looking for those guys to, do something that makes me notice them. And certainly I think it's easier at the, receiver position and some of the things that you can do in the passing game or as a runner. Some of those things, it's a lot harder to do in this environment. As a defensive player or somebody up front.
For Ramczyk being excused, is it just a matter of, hey, take some time and see where you're at, or is there he could be rehabbing here theoretically? What's?
Yeah, no, I think the plan all along is for him to have been in back home, resting, doing his rehab plan there. We got a plan for him. Certainly. We don't have to make any decisions now, but I haven't seen the progress that I was hoping to see. And so, we just got him at home doing his rehab there.
You kind of said similar stuff a few months ago about the progress. Where is it now? Is it still trending in a negative direction, or?
I would say it's not trending in either direction right now in terms of the progress, So I wouldn't say there's been much change since the last time we discussed it.
What kind of timeline do you have in this point as far as?
We don't have a timeline.
With Chase, did you talk to the doctor, or you said last week that maybe you get?
Yeah, look, he's gonna go out and see Dr. Watkins at some point this week, and so we'll have a better feel for where he's at probably after this week.
Coach, we've heard in this new offense that yards after catch may be something that's improved a lot. Is that something you're looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, I think that's a place where we need to improve. I don't think we've done a good enough job in yards after catch. Look, some of that's scheme related, some of that's technique related, and guys being able to catch the ball and get north and south. Rather than running from sideline to sideline. I think that's an area that we've got to improve on, offensively. I think we've left some yards on the field the past couple years in that area. And look, some of the run after catch I think will be scheme related, and the timing and the rhythm and the passing game, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hand a little bit faster, might allow for us to create a little bit more separation early in the down and get a little bit more run after catch.
Dennis, right now, who is, in your mind, I know you're not playing in a week, would be like the starting nickel corner or the nickel slot guy?
Yeah, I think as we sit here right now, Alontae Taylor's that guy.
Is he willing to want to really do that? How's his confidence level?
Yeah, I think his confidence level is good. I think there were some areas that he could have improved on from last year. I think he's approached it the right way. He's working extremely hard at it. He's a talented player. And look, I would say, you know, to be too harsh on him for his performance last year, I think would be a little unfair, in that you're talking about a young guy that's, you know, basically playing a position that he really hadn't played. And so, you know, those things take a little bit of time to get a feel for, and I think you'll see an improved player in that area this year.
In what ways have you seen growth in that role from him just in forward?
Well, I think just his understanding of what we're asking him to do right now is 10 times, 20 times more than what it was at this point last year. So the floor that we're starting at is much higher than where we started at, you know, last year. And so we're really basically, our floor this year is what our ceiling was last year. You with me? And we're hoping to build on that.
When McKinstry comes back, is that where you anticipate?
I see him competing in that spot, along with the outside corner position. And so, you know, I don't really see anybody being just a nickel only. I see that position being a dual position player. So whether it's nickel safety, nickel corner, you know, we don't have anybody on our team that's just a nickel only.
With Alante.
Go ahead, Ed.
What day would you start practice in California? Can you please tell us that?
The 24th is the first actual practice day. 24th. 23rd, we'll do a conditioning test, and the 24th will be our first day of practice. July 24th.
You mentioned the elements. How'd you think the team did it? And are y'all doing anything special to combat it at all, or just hydrating a lot?
We're just hydrating a little bit more. Look, we're gonna face a lot of things, a lot of adversity throughout the season. You know, a multitude of different things. The weather being one of them, the elements being one of them, and so you got to be able to block those things out and focus on the task at hand. So I thought overall we did a good job of that today.
How close is Kool-Aid to being ready to practice the team to get on the field? He did some drills today. But...
Yeah, so he was pretty much on the side for the most part today. He went through the walkthrough, and then he was on the side with the trainers for the most part. Look, I think he's getting closer, and my expectation is that he'll be ready to go for training camp.
Yeah, just for clarity on the absences, other than Ryan, the injured players, they're all here at the facility today?
They're all here.
Dennis, Eric McCoy seems like a guy who's had a little bit of a leadership role in that line room the past couple of years, but you know, losing a couple 10-year vets, Ramczyk not being here, is he kind of elevated that?
Yeah. And look, I'd say he's had a lot of bit of leadership in that room over the last couple of years. I think that's been part of the role that I think he's embraced, and I look for him to take another step forward in that area this year.
How do you feel about your receivers as a whole? Are you kind of looking for a third to emerge, or collectively, how do you?
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, we're first day of, you know, vet minicamp, you know, so I'm not getting really too much into where I see guys in terms of evaluation. Guys are out here working hard. All of that, the rest of that's going to sort out, you know, as we get closer to the season.
Coach, Derek played one series in preseason last year. I know hindsight's always 20/20, but knowing that you have a new offense, would you theoretically play a little more in August, or have you thought about that?
Well, that's a two-part question. Have I thought about it? Yes. Am I ready to talk about it? No, not right now. So, but I'd say theoretically anything's on the table. All good? All right, thanks guys.